For today's video, I'm going to discuss SSS Congruence Postulate. SSS Congruence Postulate states that if three sides of a triangle are congruent respectively to three sides of another triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. So if we're going to have these triangles here, we'll just prove that the three pairs of sides, this side here and this side here, this side here and this side, and the hypotenuse here, if we're going to have this one as a right triangle, we are going to prove three pairs of corresponding sides to be congruent so that we can say that these triangles here are congruent using the SSS Congruence Postulate. Example number 1 here. So given that E is the midpoint of line segment AD and line segment BC, and it is also given that AB here is congruent to CD. So let's have the proof. So statements and reasons. So we're going to have our first statement as E is the midpoint of line segment AD and line segment BC. So our reason here will be given. Then, since E is the midpoint of these two line segments here, this means that this point divides the two segments into two congruent parts. So we can say that AE is congruent to ED, and also CE is congruent to EB. So CE is congruent to EB. The reason here for the two is definition of midpoint. Then the second given here is that AB, line segment AB, is congruent to line segment CD. This is given. And so since there are three pairs of corresponding sides congruent, so we can say that triangle AEB is congruent to triangle DEC using the SSS Congruence Postulate. Example number 2, given that D is the midpoint of BC and AB, this line segment, is congruent to AC. So we're going to prove that triangle ABD is congruent to triangle ACD. So proof, then statements, and second column reasons. So first statement, we're going to have D is the midpoint of line segment BC. Reason here will be given. Now, since D is the midpoint of BC, so we can say that BD, line segment BD is congruent to line segment DC. So line segment BD is congruent to line segment DC. Reason here will be definition of midpoint. And number 3, if we're going to look at the figure, we can have AD or line segment AD congruent to line segment AD using the reflexive property. So a line segment is just congruent to itself. Then for our last statement, we can have the second given, line segment AB is congruent to line segment AC. So this is given. So again, we have three pairs of corresponding sides which are congruent. So we can say that triangle ABD is congruent to triangle ACD using the SSS Congruence Postulate. I hope this video helped you. If you have questions about the topic, please comment down below and see you next time.